All right, boys, there's no time to explain. I'm gonna need everyone who watches this video to like, comment, and subscribe, or I'm gonna come kick your grandma in the ovaries. All right, let's do this. Bye. How's it going, everybody? It's Play here. Today we're gonna be talking about some Iron Lung, and we got a video by Critical Drinker here by saying Iron Lung, wow, it's actually good now. I went to go see Iron Lung actually 2 days ago on a Saturday, and I was gonna make a video about it on Sunday, but it was Super Bowl Sunday, and then, you know, hanging out with family, friends, and all that lovely jazz. So I didn't make that video about it. And now I was, you know what? We got this Iron Critical. Jesus Christ, my brain froze right there. We got this Critical Drinker video. So I said, you know what? We could talk about it while watching this Critical Drinker video. I was gonna have a friend talk about it with me as well, but he decided that going to the gym and being an actual stable adult was way more important than sitting in the Discord talking about Iron Lung. I mean, I would rather just be jobless and just talk about Iron Lung all day, but you know, I mean, to each their own. He's not like a cool kid like I am, but anyway, let's get this video started. If you like, comment, if you like what you're seeing, you know, wanna let me know what you thought of Iron Lung if you saw it. I will be having spoilers somewhere before anything pops up, so hopefully, if you haven't seen it and you want to go see it, you don't get spoiled here. But other than that, let's get to the video.
Well, I've got to admit, this one came out of nowhere. I can't really explain how, but for some reason, I knew next to nothing about this movie, or the guy who made it, or the
Bro, to be honest, I watched Markiplier for years. I've never seen him play Iron Lung somehow. I don't know how I missed it, but so I just completely missed it. But this movie, it was confusing, but it truly was captivating, and it caught my attention so many
behind
times.
it until like a couple of days ago, when suddenly everyone was talking about Iron Lung. I mean, can you really blame me though? A YouTuber making a low-budget independent horror movie? Haven't we just done that? Well, yeah.
Bro, it's been so, like, I don't think we've ever actually had a real successful one. Now, if you have, please tell me in the comment section. But from what I know, from what I've seen, Markiplier is like quite literally the first big YouTuber to make his own successful movie. And this movie was amazing, in my opinion. Even though he was in a small room, I felt like I was still traversing through an endless, meaty cavern. I did say spoilers in the beginning, so yeah, if you get spoiled, listen, I'm gonna say spoiler review in my title just to be safe. But yeah, it felt like I got lost in this giant meaty cavern, and at first it made me think, like, is the cavern alive, or is there things that are alive? Bro, it was truly phenomenal.
Yeah, but the difference here is that Iron Lung is actually good, taking a wildly outlandish sci-fi concept and wrapping it up into a tense, claustrophobic story of human perseverance and cosmic Lovecraftian horror, driven by a compelling script that keeps you guessing about where it's all leading, and a surprisingly strong performance from its lead actor. In short,
Bro, 100% agree. Markiplier's acting in this was truly phenomenal. When his anger, when he was sad, to truly feel his sadness, his confusion, you can actually feel that when you were watching it. It was truly phenomenal. I didn't expect it, honestly. I truly did not expect Markiplier to put on such a magnificent performance. It was truly phenomenal.
This is exactly what independent filmmaking should be about. Yeah, it's definitely not perfect, and if I'm honest, it feels more like a short film concept stretched out into a 2-hour runtime, but I'll get into that later.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna get into it, and I agree, but I feel like they did it kind of good.
For now, let us discuss the plot, shall we? So, backstory for Iron Lung is a bit thin on the ground, but as far as I can tell, the film's set at some indeterminate point in the future where humanity's begun to colonize the galaxy until an event known as the Quiet Rapture caused all the stars and planets to disappear. How? Don't know, just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of confusing on just how all these stars and planets are just dying and disappearing. Now, what I presumably think maybe, you know, it's the heat death of the universe. Stars just naturally die out, planets go along with it, or maybe there's some, I chalked it up into some entity that was like some cosmic entity that they couldn't really process it as. It was the reason why. That's what I chalked it up as, honestly. It's just some random cosmic entity.
The only survivors now are scattered across the void on ships and space stations, including our main man, Simon, a convicted prisoner who was involved in the destruction of an outpost called Filament Station. What exactly happened? Don't know. His mission is to pilot a submersible.
Okay. I mean, like, they kind of explained what happened to what happened to the station. You know, Simon and a group of his quote unquote brothers were involved into the reason that why it was destroyed. But I guess they never really explained in full detail per se. Yes.
Go into an ocean of blood on a distant moon and gather samples from the seabed, where his commanders seem to think they'll find information that could save the human race. Wait, why is there an entire ocean of blood? Why do they think there's stuff down there that's gonna save humanity? Why use a convicted felon with zero training for such an important mission? Don't know, just go with
I would listen. I agree. I was like a part. My brain did go down that path, but I said, you know what? Enjoy the movie. Enjoy the movie. Don't think about it too much.
it. Anyway, so down he goes into the...
Because I'll be real here. I would not be going to some moon that for some reason is filled with the ocean full of blood. I listen. I am not going down there.
Ocean.
And because you can't really see through blood, he's forced to use an X-ray camera to take quick snapshots of his surroundings. That's all you ever get to see of what's around him, and it's a neat little way of circumventing the film's lack of budget. Anyway, that's when he spots the skeleton.
And by the way, that X-ray camera, bro, man, listen, I would have made sure to let him know that from the beginning. If you're gonna see the movie, man, it's like, bro, y'all kind of asked for that, because like he shouldn't have panicked, but man, they should have told him.
Skeleton lying on the ocean floor, and for some reason, this is super exciting news for everyone involved. I mean, I'm guessing if you're in a literal ocean of blood, it probably means that quite a few things had to die to create it, so there would definitely be skeletons involved, but whatever. His commander wants...
That's what I was thinking. Like when we're going through the movie, right? Seeing how like this is an ocean full of blood. I was thinking like, first of all, either so many entities had to be killed in order to fill that up, or maybe there was just some real giant entities that died and filled it up. Either way, when we saw well, again, I said spoilers gonna be in the movie. When we saw the skeleton, I was like, yo, if those are the entities that are going around, no wonder it's filled with blood. Holy hell.
Wants him to gather more data, but then he gets attacked by an undersea monster that severs communications and leaves him stranded in some underwater cave system. From there on, he has to figure out a way to escape the labyrinth in a poorly maintained submarine whose systems are starting to fail, while suffering increasingly severe hallucinations and intermittent radio contact with a survivor from a previous expedition. But can he hope to ever make it back to the surface? What's that undersea monster all about? Why is the blood leaking into his submarine? And what is it doing to his body? And is the voice on the radio even real? You know, it's interesting to compare this movie
I thought he was gonna say, don't know. That's what I thought he was gonna do again. Bro, I had those same questions when it came down to it. And I feel like the movie kinda answered some of those questions. And there were some of the questions that it was kind of left like, I feel like you could have explained it a little bit better, you know? But other than that, it did an okay job.
To Shelby Oaks, because on the surface the two films have a lot in common. They're both independent horror movies made by YouTube
Okay, I've never heard of Shelby Oaks. I don't know who this guy is. I know who this guy is, and know Markiplier, but I don't know who this guy is.
personalities with roughly comparable budgets, but the difference is the creative philosophy behind them. Whereas Shelby Oaks was basically a patchwork quilt of tried and tested horror tropes wrapped up in a safe, conventional plot that's been done a million times before, Iron Lung is a risky, wildly inventive concept, setting up an interesting and creative premise that allows it to make the most of limited resources and constantly keeping you guessing about where it's all heading. One is an actual creative horror movie willing to take risks made by people with a story to tell. The other feels more like an AI's idea of what a horror movie should be, made out of obligation rather than artistic passion. And well, the result...
Ooh, that's kind of bad, honestly. I don't know. I might go look up Shelby Oaks. We might do a Shelby Oaks review, because I don't know. It seemed kind of interesting, and I don't know. I kind of feel like because it's reminded me of like those little things he showed. There's a movie called VHS. I think it's super good. It's just an amalgamation of just horror tropes all in multiple movie scenes. They're like little small movies all put together in one movie. I think it was pretty good. I enjoyed watching it. So, I mean, I might go check out some Yokes. That seems pretty interesting.
Will speak for themselves. One practically vanished without a trace, and the other seems to be making waves at the box office. Not
Ooh,
to
that's
worry
a lot
though,
of money.
Chris. I'm sure there's plenty more predatory gambling apps for you to shill.
Oh,
He's out of line,
yikes.
but he's right.
The other big surprise for
Yeah, he's like, you out of line, but you're right.
me was Markiplier as lead actor. Well, basically the only actor now that I think about it. I mean,
Well, no, there were other actors in there. Don't miss out on the lady officer and then the welder. That poor guy, his character is definitely dead. If you watched it, you know what happens to him.
let's be real here, financing your own movie so that you yourself can star in it is a risky move that could have turned the whole thing into a laughable vanity project. YouTubers aren't exactly known for their dramatic acting range, especially if they have to carry an entire movie by themselves. But credit to the guy,
Nah,
he
he
pulls
did
off a
it.
surprisingly strong, compelling performance as a desperate man pushed to his mental and physical limits with the vague promise of freedom at the end. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, bro, and that's what I think. I think he played the character well when it came down to being a man trapped in a box. A man trapped in a box that has no chance of survival, basically, and he wants to live. He played that role phenomenally in my eyes.
And you can't help but root for the guy. I said before that Iron Lung's only
Yes, I agree. You can't help but root for the guy, even though, he's supposed to be a criminal and it's supposed to be a punishment. But as time goes on and you do learn some of his story, it's like, depending on your moral stand, is he a criminal? Is it his fault? It kind of goes through those conundrums.
real weakness is the sluggish pace, mainly caused by the lack of real plot events and other characters to bounce off. The film's 2 hours long, and although it definitely gets its momentum back for the finale, the second act is pretty slow and tedious. I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to lose focus on what the protagonist was actually doing and getting a little bored of being trapped in one location for the entire film. I get that it's
Okay, I yes. At one point, it did seem it was getting a little tedious when going through the back and forth. It was like, in my mind, I did say, all right, guys, let's hurry up to the point. I did say that at once in my mind, just once though. I remember thinking that. So fair, that's fair.
supposed to play into the film's atmosphere of claustrophobia and paranoia, and it's obviously a direct copy of the video game that it's based on, but there's an obvious distinction between tension and boredom when it's stretched too far, and Iron Lung definitely crosses the line at times. I can't shake the feeling that this setup would have made for an awesome 30-minute short film rather than a drawn-out 2-hour feature.
Ooh, Iron Lung as a 30-minute short film. I have to agree with Critical on that one, actually. Drinker's right. I think if this was even like a short film, like more specifically, a short film on YouTube, this would have done numbers, right? It would have done numbers. Everyone would have talked about it. But the fact that he put it in the movie form and was able to make it extended to the point where it was still able to keep suspense, still able to keep attention, even though it got tedious at some point. I feel he did an amazing good job in converting it into a movie still, 2-hour movie basically.
Sure, but what the fuck? Nobody's going to a movie theater to see a 30-minute film. Overall though,
yeah.
I think Iron Lung is a movie that's way better than it has any right to be. It's well shot, well acted, and although it doesn't pretend to answer all the questions it poses, I'm perfectly okay with that. Cosmic horror is a genre that's been chronically underrepresented in cinema, so it's nice to see a film tackling it in a unique, inventive way like this. It might not.
So yeah, I agree with that point. The cosmic horror aspect of it was true, in my opinion. I was really captivated on what caused, from my perspective, it seemed like humanity basically was, most of the race was gone, basically. Again, there's not sustaining planets to sustain life. There's not many. Stars are dying. And at one point, even in the movie, they've stated like the stars, because somebody in the movie was like, I still see the stars. And they told him those are just dead light. Those stars have already died, and it's just taking a long time for the light to get up, which that's how light works. So I love that concept of like, even though you're looking at the stars, it's like they're dead. Like it's nothing out there. And if there is something out there, the possibility to discover like, bro, what is ending all that supposed life, all that energy, all that power, the point where humanity, there's like a handful of them left. it's truly an interesting concept, and I loved it.
Not be perfect, but I never needed it to be. I just needed it to be good, and it is.
I 100% agree. It didn't need to be perfect. It didn't make me. I didn't regret going to the movie theater and paying to see this movie. And I go to a place called Hollywood Boulevard, and it's a place where you can sit down and eat. And so I didn't regret a single thing. A single dollar I didn't regret. I enjoyed myself.
So well done, Markiplier. You took
Absolutely.
a gamble and it paid off. Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't mention gambling.
Bro, this man is crazy. I love it.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Go away now. Oh, I wish I had an exit intro like that, but I'd be stealing. Oh, make sure to go to Critical Drinkers Beard and make sure to give him a like and subscribe. That was a good review for it. Honestly, definitely honest review. I pretty much had the same opinions that Critical Drinker had. Honestly, Markiplier did an amazing job with Iron Lung. To be someone who grew up watching him and to see him create, honestly, truly a great film that was just hopefully a game changer for especially Hollywood. It would be amazing if Hollywood can take a few lessons from him and understand, give the people what they want, and it's okay to take a little gamble instead of giving us, these DEI slops he's been giving us. But other than that, if you like what you guys seen here, if you like the content, let me know what you think about Iron Lung if you have seen it as well, and see you on the next one. Deuces.